What are your rogue decks for post-Phantom Revenge December 2025? Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that RB button so you guys don't miss out more Oscar. I think RB truly deserves to be the pinnacle of Rogue right now, because this deck, I think, is up to like 8 to 10 tops on the regional level at this point. It barely bubbled out of like top 64 out of one of the YCSs out of this block, and there's been so much genuine innovation within the deck. It actually feels like one of the most underrated decks within the space right now, because honestly, nobody wants to respect it. Nobody looks at this deck and goes, hey, you know, why is RB doing well? It's because they have a lot of good, strong machine tools. And honestly, the deck just really pops off. It's honestly kind of impressive to see just how strong RB can be. So it is definitely one of the strong rogue decks of choice. We also are going to mention Argostar here. We had an Argostar deck take down a regional. Now, before you're like, there's no way this is real. It did happen, actually. And this is kind of the thing that we talk about. With enough variance, any deck on a good day can technically overcome the meta. It's just, there's got to be enough ducks in a row, and there's got to be enough of a story to, you know, hear about it. And if that does happen, then you're going to have a lot of people go, well, holy crap, like, this is the time. And I do agree with you. I think very much seeing this deck come to fruition was a great sign for the meta, and I'm honestly kind of expecting to see, you know, more people try out Argostar. Now, will this be, you know, a replicatable, you know, scenario? Honestly, probably not, but I feel like that's okay. Not every top win has to be, you know, replicated. And then we have Blue Eyes White Dragon. This deck never truly leaves the top cuts, are the rogue indicator, because I mean, this deck still tops regionals. It's very much on its way out of the meta right now. You know, you can still play Drill Beam and you can still control your opponent with Lordly Load. It is just such an ungodly, unfun thing to have to do. And it's also so slow. Like, 6 months ago, you could activate Drill Beam and slowly control the opponent passively because one Drill Beam mattered. Now you need like 3 Drill Beams to even relevantly make a dent on anything that the opponent's doing. And that ends up being a little bit of a problem. Not saying that Blue Eyes is terrible, but the reward for playing the deck right now is far less than it unfortunately was in the past. So, well, we'll see where it continues to go, but I think it's still worth mentioning. And we still have Sky Striker. Sky Striker does not feel bad right now. Obviously, if I had Carmelian and a lot of the other tools, I'd feel a lot better. But if you're playing Striker, you're going to have to work your ass off in order to get these wins. You're going to have to actually, if you're in a pretty big Draco Tail meta, I think you could do decently well there, but my only concerns still remain, you know, you're going to have the linkage of Droplet to kick off those spells so you can invalidate the flames so you can actually play the game. Obviously, if you can do that, though, there's a lot of reward for you, honestly. And I will say I kind of like that idea. I do think Sky Striker still remains one of the better choices for the rogue category, but it is definitely a deck you have to work for. You are not getting free Ws with this. Then we have the White Forest. So this one's kind of interesting to me. In the same categories as we also just had an Azamina deck smash down a regional, which I'm still kind of questioning how in the world that happened, but Lava Golems going second cards are going to be enough nightmare fuel to kind of instill fear into some of the metagame space, and I can honestly understand why, you know, a deck like that could do very, very well. It makes sense to me to see the control options coming together, and obviously, you know, the Azamina stuff, especially if you're looking at like the White Forest combo hybrid, Droll Knockbird is like the worst thing you got to deal with, and if you obviously get drolled, well, you know, you're picking your cards up and you're walking away as it is. So so it just happens. But at least the Azamina going second build has the ability to counterplay through some of this back row stuff that's being generated. So I don't think that's too terrible. And of course, Bone Daddy, Memento, still remains on this list. You know, with the limited card pool that Memento has, I feel like this deck just is Sky Striker 2.0. It's like, if you high roll every game and you're just like, oh, cool, I don't give a crap about anything my opponent's got, like, you'll just spin around very, very quickly, and it just kind of turns into, like, a very crazy-esque scenario that just rewards you very, very greatly for what you got. But at the same time, though, it's refreshing to watch Memento actually play through the lines. Like, I'm honestly just very curious to see how much longer that, you know, we'll see this deck be successful at what it does, because it's honestly kind of rewarding to watch. I know, I do hope people enjoy Memento the longer that the deck does stick around. And we're still going to leave Odon on the list here as well. Dear old Odon, the OCG's been innovating it with what flavor of vanilla monster can I shove into my deck this week to, you know, make my deck very, very flavorful. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, I think the Prime-Eyed Odon build is the best version of this deck that you're going to be able to play. Now, does that mean, you know, you can't play another version of it? I mean, you can. It's just, you're going to be running into the consistency problem, and I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that you want the deck to be consistent, but at the same time, you don't want to be hurting at the point that it's like, well, there's not really much I can do about this. Because if you can get the deck set up and you can get things off of the ground, it usually goes pretty well. We're still going to leave Orcust on this list too. I think Orcust just deserves to remain on this list as long as it's not getting deified or shifted. Orcust is usually a pretty scary deck for what it's able to set up. And I mean, we've also had the Orcust Mitsurugi deck running around. This is one of those decks that you can go, ooh, I can combine a couple engines together and I can get rewarded. You know, being able to use the Mitsurugi stuff to come bombard and clear up the field, and then use the Orcust stuff to kind of establish and get set up. It does feel pretty good pretty quickly to watch things kind of stabilize and work out. So I do kind of like that. I think that that's a pretty important factor when you're looking at Orcust, is how good is it going to be when you have all of these bits and moving pieces working. Play Mitsurugi with the deck. It's pretty gosh darn good. And then we have the Illusion Pile with Hecahands. So this is, I think, one of the cooler builds that we can get off of the ground right now, because you can incorporate the Chimera good stuff with this. We can also build in Fiendsmith. You get a lot of cool little tools within the deck to work out. Now, you can brew up like a 60 card variant of all of these little engines, and it actually works out decently well. I didn't realize that seeing the concept of this would be a workable idea, but gosh darn it, man, it looks really funny to watch all of this stuff, you know, working out and doing its job. So congratulations to seeing, you know, Hecahands is going to be kind of relevant in the, you know, Illusion Pile. It's just, if you didn't really expect it to work out, well, you know, it just depends. And then we're leaving Anamano Risle down here. I mean, this deck's really good in Genesis, right? It's got to be good somewhere. I do think that the deck is okay. You lost Protos, but I mean, Detonator's still a heck of a card. You're still able to smash through and do a lot of really, really stupid things with the deck. And, you know, I think that's still worth noting. It's not as good without the lock, but I still think people are going to cope on playing the deck. So we leave it in the rogue category for the time being. So what do you guys think about all of these kind of cool lists? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I hope you guys have fun with your rogue decks. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.